Okay, I want to walk you through how to begin your name design in Adobe Illustrator. This is the instructions are under Fundamentals of Design on the Google Classroom. There's a couple resources here that you can use that we'll talk about in class. The point of this project is just to get familiar with some of the tools in Illustrator, and so I can see how much experience you have using Illustrator. I'm not going to show you everything here, but depending on your design, I can help you with specific tools or techniques. So you're going to find Adobe Illustrator AI and open it. You're going to create a new document, so you won't see anything here. Create a new document. Just choose the letter or print size, and we're going to, so that's typically under print, letter, standard size paper, and then choose the orientation as horizontal. That's the only setting we need to change here. Your options for this are either to work with the shape tools, the drawing tools like the pen tool or the paintbrush tool, or work with existing fonts and type. If you are comfortable using Illustrator and there's other things you want to try, you can do that as well. So I want you to think about how you can design your lettering and make it somehow reflective of you. My demo designs, I just want to show you some possible ways you could approach this, and I'm going to go kind of fast. You could build all of your letters out of shapes. So I'm going to go to the rectangle tool, and I'm going to change this to a black fill, no outline. I haven't really gone through all of these menus and palettes with you because I just kind of want to see where you're at first, and then I'll know how much to cover and what's repetitive. So I made this black rectangle. I want to try to use the same elements as much as possible to keep it consistent. So I'm going to copy and paste this. You can do that by going to Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste. Or if you know the key commands, like Command C for copy, Command V for paste, that helps you get a little faster. So I'll probably be using the key commands as I do this. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And I'm just going to think about how could I make like my whole name out of just using like basically these shapes. So I'm going to keep copying and pasting. I know it doesn't look like anything yet. I just selected all these by clicking and dragging, and I'm going to use the Align tool to make sure that they're all lined up on top. Okay, now I'm going to click and paste again, but now I want to transform this. So I'm going to go to Transform. And you can also go through the top menu if you go to Object, Transform, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. You could also do that right here. Rotate whatever you want. There's been some changes to Illustrator, and sometimes I don't always know how to do everything. I also want to make this a lot shorter, so I'm going to go to the width over here. Right now it's measuring in points. You can get used to measuring things in points. I typically go to Preferences and change the, go to General, change the units. I like to see things like in inches because that's what I'm used to. I'm just going to change that a minute. And I like stroke and type in points. All right, so now I see inches, it's 2 inches. I want it to be maybe more like 1 inch. So I'm gonna put a 1 in there, and then I'm gonna copy and paste this to make my J, U, L, I, and E. And I want everything to be aligned really well. Actually, I'm gonna do one more. Paste another one, I'm gonna rotate this to 180. Put it here. Okay, so I'm going to align these shapes along the bottom. Align these along the bottom. Actually, I could just go through if I want to click and drag. And then I'm going to hold Shift to unselect these because these I do not want to align along the bottom. And go here. this guy down a little bit. These can align along the top. And then these three I want to align on the side. It's pretty good. Now I want to get the spacing. And I'm just showing you this so you're seeing a lot of different tools and commands and how you can use these things. If you have multiple shapes you want to combine, you can do that by grouping them. If you go to Object Group, and then instead of like moving it in one separates, you can move them all together. And I'm going to do Command Z to go back. Command Z, undo, Command Z, go back. All right, now I'm just going to play around with this a little bit. I could try some different colors. I could try copying and pasting this to do like a shadow or 3D effect. I could try, I'm going to copy and paste that again, to do an outline. Let me just show you what, if I just change to outline, maybe you like an effect like this, but if I want my shapes united, I can also, let me go backwards a minute, go to Object, Window, Pathfinder, and there's some different shape modes. If you hover, it will tell you what it will do. These will take some getting used to. I know I want to unite or merge these separate shapes together, so I'm going to click the Unite button. And now these are all united. So now if I switch my stroke, it will be going on the whole letter. Stroke weight is here if I want to make that thicker or thinner. Okay, so just working with shapes, there's a lot you could do with that. I'm just showing you like one example of how you could work with shapes. If you want to work with the drawing tools, like the pencil or the paintbrush, paintbrush is the default. If you click and hold, you'll get to your pencil tool. I'm having a lot of trouble with my mouse right now, so I'm not able to draw very well, but it's really shaky and I can't get my other mouse to work. But if you were doing this and using the pencil tool, you know, it would be a much smoother line, but you can draw in your letters. Maybe this would be good if I wanted to make like a furry monster letter. Let's try that. So I'm going to turn off the stroke with the off button. I'm going to make it pink. And maybe I'll try an effect like distort and transform. I'm going to try, I don't know, just play around. I'm going to try zigzag. You have to click preview to see what any of these effects are going to do to your object. Oh yeah, that's what I want. So I'm going to make it look kind of crazy. Click OK. You can just do whatever you want for these, using these drawing tools. You don't need to remember everything that I'm showing you, but just so you can see some options. If I wanted some variation in the color of this, I could use the mesh tool. It's under the gradient tool. This will allow you to click some points, and then you can change the color within those points. So if I wanted this to be like kind of a highlight, I could bring that down. It's got like a little highlight now. I'm going to try the pen tool to make some arms. So I'm going to click. Every time you click, it sets down a point. Right now it's got, oh geez. Okay, escape. It's got a fill, and I just want a black line, so I'm going to change that. This would probably be easier with my drawing tool if my mouse was working better, but it's not. I'm trying to make little arms. Oh, jeez. Okay, let's try the line tool. So under shapes, I'm going to go to the line segment tool and make a goofy arm. There is a game called the Bezier tool game linked on the classroom folder. The pen tool is really, really handy when you're illustrating in Illustrator, but it's very complicated. And that game, we'll talk about that because that can help you like understand how to use that tool. Last option for designing as far as tools is you can use existing letters to alter them. So I'm going to use the T tool, type in my name, T for typing. I'm in my character menu over here to change the font. If you ever are looking for a menu and you don't see it, go up to Window, and I'm on Type Character. I'm going to change this to like a bolder font. Let's see, let's try this one. And then I'm going to make it a lot bigger. And it goes up to 72, but you can always type in a higher number. If you decide to use an existing font, you'll need to alter it in some way to make it a little more interesting. So go bigger. In order to do that, you'll have to create outlines on your type. So while it's selected, go to Object, Create Outlines. Where is it? Object. No, I'm sorry, Type. Under Type, go to Create Outlines. This turns your text into a shape. So now instead of it being editable with the T tool, it's just a shape. If you click out of it and go to the Direct Selection tool, so I've been using the Selection tool to like click on things, move things, change the color. If you go to the Direct Selection tool, you can just choose particular points within a shape. So I could do things like grab a point off my letter and pull it out. I'm going to hold Shift so that goes straight. And you can kind of play around with the existing shapes in the font. There's also options for different fills. You can do, let's say I wanted to have this be a more transparent color. I could go to Transparency and change down the opacity. Work with different layers. You could also work with fills. So instead of just a solid color, I could try like a pattern. So those are under swatches. If you go to, I don't see swatches open, so I'm going to go to Window, Swatches, and it will give you some colors and a few patterns and some gradients. If you want to add to the swatch library, you can go to the three little lines, go to Open Swatch Library. Most of these are just solid colors, but they're arranged in particular types of palettes. Patterns will give you some patterns to work with. So I have like basic graphics lines open right now, and you can see that right over here. So I was trying like out this like grid pattern. You should also be putting a background color or design behind this. And really, it's about experimenting with the tools. I want to see kind of how familiar you are with the program and where we should go from there. Your final end product should just be like the design that you've decided on, and design it with the background. So we can talk more about like options for what you want to do for your background later. Okay, bye.